Hi everybody, welcome to Sunya and welcome to the topic 10 worksheet discussion of the Environment Prelims Crash Course 2023. Okay, this is the part of the ongoing crash course for environment. Okay, for Prelims 2023. In case if you want to enroll, you may join. So we're talking of the last worksheet discussion, that is for the day 10, that is the topic of energy. So first of all, please watch lecture number 10. Okay, it's a comprehensive lecture on energy that will give you a good understanding of the topic. Okay, so let us begin. The first question is on India Cooling Action Plan, right? It is launched by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Okay, so no, this is wrong, right? This India Cooling Action Plan basically is an initiative of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay, it talks about two basic things. First, it talks about sustainable cooling, number one. Second, this initiative talks about overall how can you preserve the ozone layer from getting depleted. So these are the two basic components of India Cooling Action Plan. All right. Now it focuses on skilling of these refrigeration and air conditioning service technicians. Yes, this is correct. It also, by the way, talks about assessing the cooling requirements across sectors, right? Then it also talks like what can be the solutions, what can be different innovations, okay, so that sustainable cooling can be done, right? And last, this is in sync with India's commitment to Montreal Protocol. We've already discussed Montreal in good detail. So yeah, it helps to achieve India's commitment to the Montreal Protocol. So that's correct. All right. So here the answer for question number one becomes 2 and 3 only. Second question is on World Sustainable Development Summit. Okay. So annual flagship program of UNDP? No, it's an annual flagship program of the Energy and Resource Institute. Now this started from the year 2001. Okay, so this has been going on, right? Now they're asking you theme. Okay, so theme for 2022 summit. Okay, so actually the theme for 2022 summit is actually towards a resilient planet. Okay, the redefining our common future was actually the theme of older one, which is 2021. All right, so 2 becomes wrong. This is the only summit on global issues taking place in developing countries. Yes, this is true. Okay, and this is where actually these global leaders, practitioners, etc., they come and discuss all these important climate issues. Okay, so because of this, the answer is 3 only. So remember, this is by this the Energy and Resource Institute. Okay, so not related to UN. Then the next question is on Bima bamboo. Okay, this was also in the news. That's why we framed a question here. Now here, it's a thornless species, yes, of bamboo developed by Tamil Nadu-based agri-tech companies. Okay, so that is true. That this is number one, thornless, and it is also sterile. Okay, so this is correct. Now, it is a product of genetically modification. Okay, so here actually there is no genetic modification which is done. It's simply a case of conventional breeding. Okay. This is just a case of conventional breeding. What happens in conventional breeding? See, in conventional breeding, we're only creating a carbon copy or a simple clone. Okay. As opposed to genetic modification, etc., when the basic structure of the DNA, etc., is going to be changed. Okay, so it's different. So it's not a product of genetic modified organisms. Third question, it produces no seeds and continues to grow without death. Okay, so this is true. It is actually sterile. Okay, which also means it does not produce any seed. Okay, and it basically continues to grow without any death. Right. So question number 3, the answer becomes 1 and 2 only. In case of Bima bamboo. Okay. Now next question is on green rating for integrated habitat assessment. Okay. So this is often a question which is asked, like, who has developed this particular thing? Okay. So this again has been done by a body which we've already seen. So you have the Energy and Resource Institute, number one, along with Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So both these bodies are present. So one is TERI, okay, and the other is MNRE. So one becomes wrong, okay. Second, it is a rating tool that helps the people to assess performance of buildings against a nationally acceptable benchmark. Okay, so this is true. This is the basic idea here. Okay, that you want to assess the performance through a rating tool. Next, the guidelines appraisal may be revised annually. Now, while these appraisals are revised, but this not happen every year. This happens every 3 years. So even this is wrong. So because of that, statement 1 and 3 is wrong. Question is asking what is incorrect. So our answer becomes C, that is 1 and 3 only. Okay. Next we have question number 5. Okay, this is India Solar Loan Program. So it was launched under, so see, this was launched under UNEP, and it's an old program way back in 2003. So statement 1 is wrong. It is not in 2021 Glasgow Summit. Okay. So this is wrong. So what is the objective here? The objective was to help the solar rich. So number one, solar rich southern Indian states to help rural households finance the purchase of solar home systems. This entire line is correct. Okay. So basically it's a credit facility in southern India. Okay. So statement number 2 is correct. This program provides both financial as well as assistance in technical issues. Okay, so even this part is correct, right? This is the basic objective of the program, to provide financial as well as technical support. Okay, because of this, the answer becomes B for question number 5. Okay, that's 2 and 3 only. Okay, next question. Okay, we are talking about energy conservation building code. Okay, so here, so first statement, this National Mission on Sustainable Habitat talks about energy efficiency in buildings through this extension of this code. Okay, so this part is actually true, that this is the basic idea of energy conservation building code. Okay, right, and this mission on sustainable habitat, right, this mission is actually being implemented by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Okay, so even this is something you need to know. Second, Griha Council is responsible, right, for establishing ECBC. Okay. Now here, this Energy Conservation Building Code was actually established by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, right, which is a body under Ministry of Power. Okay. So that is even one thing that you need to be aware about. So of course, this part becomes wrong, that it is developed by this Griha Council, etc. Right? That's wrong. Third, the buildings intended for private residential purposes only. So first of all, those who are for private purposes only are not covered by the code. Okay, so this is true, that building in which you only have a private residential like purpose, these are not covered. Now in case a building has to be covered, or if it has to be ECBC compliant, okay, it has to demonstrate a saving of around 25%. Okay, so that is there. All right, apart from that, see, if so, they actually have to be, see, if you are totally private person, it is not included, but if it's a commercial purpose project, etc., then the buildings are included or covered under this code. Okay, so please make sure you understand this fine detail. We are only talking about the private residential building purposes, right? So in this case, for question number 6, the answer becomes A. Okay, that's 1 and 3 only. Question number 7, National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan this ecosystem, right? Now here we have to see which of the following statements is correct. Okay, so this Ministry of Science and Tech, okay, has been the nodal responsibility authority for coordinating this mission. for sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem. True. It is one of the 8 submissions of National Action Plan on Climate Change. Even this is true. National Action Plan of Climate Change was launched in the year 2008. Okay, it has 8 submissions. Missions like Water Mission, National Solar Mission, National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. We've already seen a question on it in the previous questions, right? Then National Mission for Green India, which talks about afforestation, sustainable agriculture, etc., etc. Right? So that is true. Then the next statement is all the Himalayan region states are covered under this mission. Okay, so yeah, this is true. All the Himalayan range states are covered. And the last is to develop a sustainable national capacity to continuously assess the health of the Himalayan ecosystem, right? That is the basic objective here. So it talks about improving the human capacity, right? Institutional capacity, having this knowledge networks in knowledge institutions, right? How can you improve the traditional knowledge, or like how can you use the traditional knowledge to improve the local economy, right? So all these things which have socio-economic and ecological consequences are a part of this, right? So here all the 4 statements are actually correct. Okay. Then a question on greenhouse gas emissions, right? India is the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world. Yes. Number one is China, followed by US, and then you have India, right? So one is true. India's per capita emissions are lower than the G20 countries average. Even this is true. When we're talking of per capita, simply think of basic CSAT. You have a numerator, you have a denominator. If the denominator is huge, overall per capita emissions will be less, right? So India, of course, because of its huge population, overall has a low per capita emissions, right? That is true. Then in India, the energy sector has contributed to more than 50%, okay, which also means it is the leading cause, okay, of these emissions. So even this is correct, okay. And after them, after the energy sector, you have this agriculture sector that is around 18%, okay, and then you have the other, for example, industrial is roughly around 8%. The question says 20%. No, that is wrong. It is around 8%, right? So here the answer becomes C, 1, 2 and 3 only. Okay, next question is on renewable energy certificates. Okay, so these are market based instruments, true, where the owner of REC can legally claim to have purchased renewable energy. Okay, so that is true. And basically, the idea is that these are certain obligations so that the renewable energy targets can be met by making sure that these companies they source some of the renewable energy. That's the basic idea. Okay. Second, one REC is equivalent to 100 megawatt hours. Okay, this of course seems a very big exaggeration. It's only 1 megawatt hour. Okay, one REC is equal to 1 megawatt hour. Next, the validity of an REC is perpetual. Okay, that means forever. That till it's sold. Now, this was one of these basic mechanisms, right, which was basically discussed about that the validity, etc., of this REC, whether it will be perpetual or not, right? So now this is going to be perpetual, right? So that is true. Earlier there was a basic limit which was added to it, but now this has been made perpetual. Okay, so this is fine. So question number 9, our answer becomes C, 1 and 3 only. Right, next is Green AG project. Okay, what is Green AG project? Basically, Government of India, yes, in collaboration with FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. Okay, so this is true. And by the way, not this project gets assistance from Global Environment Facility. Okay, we've already done questions on Global Environment Facility. So yeah, this is correct. One is true. Second, mainstream biodiversity, climate change, land management, etc. practices in the Indian agriculture. Okay, so this is true. This is both 1 and 2 statements here are correct. Okay, Green AG project basically talks about reducing the emissions from agriculture. We've already seen that agriculture contributes a lot to these greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, then the last question here, Niti Aayog's Methanol Economy program, it is aimed at reducing India's import bill. Okay, so now four questions on methanol. One by one, we will see. Methanol blended with gasoline increases the performance of a this automobile. Okay, so this is true. If these it is benefited, okay. If it is added, it is better. And not just that, it will also reduce the emissions. So it's also good for the environment. Okay. So first of all, this can be blended with gasoline, yes, and it increases the performance of the automobile. Even this part is true. Okay. So just remember this part. Then methanol can be made into hydrogen because see, when we're talking of methanol economy, we also should know that there are multiple ways in which methanol can be used. So yes, it can be made into hydrogen. Okay, even this part is true, right? Which would act as a linkage for hydrogen fuel cells, right? So this is true. Then statement number three, when we are talking of this methanol does not require frequent refueling. Okay, so the basic idea here is that, and sorry, and this part, and then methanol having this formaldehyde emission. So this methanol overall is safe, okay, but it has very high amount of formaldehyde emissions. Okay, so 4 is definitely wrong. Okay, by the way, if you know 4 is wrong, the question is asking not correct. You have to choose between this and this. Okay, so the question is not correct. So of course 1 and 2 is correct. So our answer has to be 3. Okay, so this part, okay, then what actually happens, methanol etc does not require frequent refueling due to its high gas mileage. Actually it requires more refueling, so that is one of the disadvantages, that you need to just like use it again and again. So yeah, overall because of less gas mileage you need more refueling. So two things we have understood here. Number one, in advantages, that it improves the performance of the vehicle, it is environment friendly, okay, and it can be made to hydrogen, okay, which overall helps. However, there are some disadvantages, that there is a frequent refueling, okay, which is having because of low mileage, not high mileage, okay, and it has high amounts of formaldehyde emissions. Okay, so this is the technical part of the methanol economy, right? So let me quickly recap these questions for you. We started the discussion with India Cooling Action Plan. Then we saw World Sustainable Development Summit. Okay, Bima Bamboo, Griha. Then a question on India's solar loan program. Then we spoke about Energy Conservation Building Code. Then the National Mission for Sustainable Himalayan Ecosystem, right? Greenhouse gas emissions and what are the trends globally. Question on renewable energy certificate, right? Green AG project, and the last one on methanol economy, right? So I hope this lecture was useful for you, in case if you want to like solidify other subjects as well. So the people who are seeing this for the first time, you can avail the prelims crash courses from Sunya IS. Okay, and I hope this the journey from lecture 1 to lecture 10 has been fruitful for you. You solved a lot of questions here with me, understood a lot of concepts, right? So now is the time to apply whatever you have learned. How can you apply? When you revise these things again and again. So make sure you revise all these concepts, you go through these worksheets again. If you made any mistakes, look for what is your learning, right? So combination of this revision, okay, active learning should help you improve your scores, which was with the basic objective of this course, right? With that said, I wish you all the very best for the upcoming exam. In case you have still doubts, you can just write back to the team, okay? Those of you who are already enrolled in the prelims crash course, okay, and you can get your things clarified if you have any issue, okay? And if you don't have any issue, yes, just simply revise and go ahead, okay? Keep calm and give your best, okay? Thank you so much.